Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I think if I'm right in saying we are ready to get this one underway just about now. The game is ready to go. Thankfully, Sam, we are back underway. We absolutely love to see it. We can get this game started just about now. How are you feeling for it?
I'm pretty excited. One day you will actually give me a countdown before we go live so that I'm not saying random things as you hit the live button.
No, that's all right.
But in the meantime, here we go. MIBR starting on the CT side, of course, as it is Cruzeiro's map pick, and well, most teams will opt to start on the CT side. I do love the fact that we're seeing two dual Berettas here. It feels unusual, but I love it.
Yeah, it's a slightly kind of roguer pick coming out, but, you know, in these close range encounters, that's where Tuurtle can start to find, you know, a little bit of form. We'll have to wait and see that as we stand. For MIBR on that CT side, not the worst position to be in, but a good start for Cruzeiro. Starting off brilliantly, finding a double, all in a matter of seconds, is looking all the more spicy. Now as we stand, in fact, for Cruzeiro, they're in a bit of a tough spot. Oh, and MIBR, may I say.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty explosive start to this round and to this half. Now, okay, we do have to bear in mind that it is just a pistol, but pistols tend to set the pacing. If you lose the pistol, you probably lose the first 4 rounds, and it turns into a little bit of a snowball here. So this is not going to be the best start for MIBR, not going to be the start that they expected, but hopefully going into the next round, they'll be able to pull something out. I do see they're trying to kind of go for some exits here, potentially.
Of course, yeah,
they might even try and salvage this if they can. See if they can get a little bit more cash in the bank. They do a lot of damage there, but it's not going to be quite enough.
Well, as we stand, that's exactly the dream start that Cruzeiro are looking for. You know, the aggressive start from them. They just essentially just hold W. You know, you love to see it. Flooding their way forward. Tuurtle's in close and personal. And of course, because of that, he just really gets caught off guard. And unfortunately, it looks like we have lost Tuurtle, in fact. I think he might have dropped back out.
Oh, no.
He was running out of the tech issues earlier. And I think he potentially might have the tech issues once again. Hopefully, though, it's not something that's reoccurring, but let's talk about what we've seen so far. On their own map pick, the T side, getting off to the dream start, and of course, because they found the bomb plant, the preference in terms of kills, they come into round number 2 with a very nice economic situation. We see the double AK setup coming out, Mac 10 to support, potentially one more if they want to go for Lux with the AK-47 half armor, bit of utility, but probably speaking, it'll be a double Galil to support from Pigo and Lux, and as we stand for Cruzeiro, they should be cruising to a second round.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier to build up an econ when you are the T side.
Yes,
you know, it's slightly cheaper to get yourself going. And so after winning that first round, you get the bomb plant, you get the cleanup on the entire enemy team. You're sorted. You're looking pretty into this next one. For MIBR, who is on the CT side, it's obviously a little bit more difficult. They're going to upgrade a couple of weapons just to give themselves a teeny bit of extra firepower. But realistically, they're not going to have a whole hell of a lot coming into this round. It's going to be one of those kind of, well, let's get this over with and see what we can do in the next when we've got just that little bit more cash in the bank. And I say a little bit more, it really is just a little bit. They'll be sitting on around 2,500 per player, apart from like Wood, who obviously is just going to be down on 2,400. And yeah, it's still not ideal. And this is why it's so important to win that first pistol round, particularly as the CP.
Yeah, no, exactly that. Well, swinging their way in towards mid, looking for a bit of an opening pick with that scout off exit. Not going to be able to convert this time around. Now, for Cruzeiro on the T side, they've got a decent amount of banana control. Small amount of nade damage will be done, but they're getting a little bit of an aggressive standing, and chelo right in their face. The MP9 finds the first. Santos going to fall, but the nade trades him out immediately. Numbers brought back level, and potentially Cruzeiro might want to double back over towards A now.
Yeah, getting a little bit greedy there. Clearly trying to pick up the weapon, but nice little nade going to come out and make sure that he can't do that and chunk off that last little bit of HP. Now the question is going to be, how do MIBR respond? Are they going to expect this push to continue up banana, or are they going to expect some sort of move away? And I mean, we can see Netox here in such a good position. Mid control completely given over by MIBR. So if they try to rotate through this way, Cruzeiro are going to be, well, sitting pretty. And look at this, they're even rotating away. They've already got one on the B side here. This could be a perfect execute.
Yeah, now this does become extremely dicey, safe to say. What a shot from Tuurtle. Pigo going to fall, and he steps up. He may be having tech issues, but no longer. Deagle, hand kind of going to find himself one. And now as we stand, the numbers favour MIBR. Despite coming in with the force buy, which was more or less nothing being brought to the table, now things are looking very good for them. And all Tuurtle has to do is just buy a bit of time for that rotation to come forward. Hold, wait, and just plague the clock to his advantage, which is now just about 20 seconds.
What's really funny is, so Tuurtle gets this kill here. Cruzeiro still up to commit to the site, and MIBR still haven't made the rotation. But now, sounds given over. Tuurtle knows it's going to be a push. He cannot solo hold the site, and MIBR have to rotate in.
Yeah, now it's from stuff. The bomb plant, the post plant somewhat set up, and the firepower very much in the hands of Cruzeiro in this post plant. But, and you know, as we stand for MIBR, they might even be tempted just to play for X's. Keep hold of what they've got and kind of rely on the potential mistakes coming out from Cruzeiro when they're trying to save what they've got left in for them. But yeah, and as we stand, I mean, this is already a chalked up to a second round. What was looking potentially off the back of that Tuurtle headshot that we could see MIBR bring things level, unfortunately not going to be the case. 2-0 for the T side, and well, decent start.
Oof. A bit tough as well for MIBR because you kind of have to put yourself in the mind of the team, right? And yes, Tuurtle gets a kill. Yes, okay, you kind of have a little bit of information. So it's the very early aggression through Banana and then the stall out. And MIBR kind of stack towards A. Then Tuurtle gets that headshot and MIBR stay on A. Because they don't know if it's some sort of a fake. If Cruzeiro have spotted out, oh, there was only one player, it was just Tuurtle. Maybe now they will have pulled out a rotation. Now they're going to move over towards A. So we're going to try and like outthink them. It becomes a game of like 4D chess. And unfortunately, MIBR lost the game. So that's another round for them that they give over to Cruzeiro. And like we mentioned a little bit earlier on, not a ton of weaponry in the tank, but some very nice early nades could give them a little bit of an edge here.
Not a bad sort of start there. Of course, for MIBR with that slightly lesser economy, as we expected, double eco situation. Now, of course, it's just the pistols supporting that one MAC-10, that one MP9. Not the best of buys of the CTs, but this is what happens when you force in towards the second round and lose it. For Cruzeiro, they're starting to make their space over towards A, trying to close down the gap as much as they can. But, I mean, realistically speaking, with a U2 in their face, they can't really overextend. But, of course, it's only a P250 to stop them, so you expect them just to play the trade game still. Holding, waiting, pushing their way forward. In comes a bit of utility in return as well. Woods just holding. Looking for that swinging towards short. It's a very calm temper from Cruzeiro.
There's a little bit of deep pressure towards Banana here from Lux. Oh, and he's going to get knocked out, but that's going to give a ton of information over towards MIBR. Now they realize it's not a Banana push, so they have to start to rotate, and I like this movement from Jota as well. He's going to create a little bit of a pincer around the back, but do they realize how deep Cruzeiro have gone in around the backside?
Oh, BT50 of Woods going to find Santos, looking for the second, Rapigo in for the trade. Deagle still comes out to find one. Not going to quite hit the second. Numbers still favour that of the CT side with one to be planted. Just trying to deny, and he will into his cold zero box. Bomb not planted safely, it's all down to one. Netox in for one, but it's three clutch. Finds a second, but it's chelo for the trade. A low buy for MIBR, but they're able to convert an AK collected. And of all the rounds for them to win, that's not the one I expected.
Definitely not, but they had a really smart play about it. So you don't really expect them to get too much done because they're on a lower buy, but because they get that very early pick off at the top of Banana, and that gives over the information that there's absolutely nothing else pushing up that way, they can start to rotate around. And okay, it does go very, very close, but you also have to remember a lot of that has to do with the fact that they couldn't match firepower. But they ultimately do win it out, and I think that in and of itself is quite impressive. It says quite a lot, and they net themselves finally around on the board. Yeah,
exactly that. Now, good opener with their HEs coming forward. MIBR, decent start from them, but of course on the flip side, Jota, chelo, I mean even Tuurtle taking quite the significant amount of damage towards HEs themselves. I mean Jota's only a slither of HP for him to work with. Not really the easiest of situations, but the mixed bag of buy towards Cruzeiro, it's a kind of a be all and end all. The high risk, high reward, failure to convert them puts them into a double eco situation, and the kind of priority coming into this sort of round has to be a bomb plant.
Now that smoke actually doesn't come out from Cruzeiro. I thought they might throw out a smoke of their own to try and block off the 50-50 check there, but instead a smoke comes out from MIBR, and that's going to slow them down, and it's one of the things that makes this map so CT-sided. You can actually do that. You know, Cruzeiro don't want to have to push through a smoke, so instead they turn around. They start making their way back towards Banana, and at a player disadvantage, you have to play this very carefully. Nice positioning here from MIBR as well, looking to try and catch them off as they come around the corner.
All about timing as we speak. Chelo just going to fall back on towards the side. Doesn't need to do anything too aggressive. And speaking of aggression, in comes Cruzeiro, walking straight in towards Jota, good for the first, in towards back pillar. Chelo going to be dropped by the running Mac 10, as Jota now forced into an early rotation. Bomb to be planted momentarily, and no utility to deny means they more or less have to play for the retake. Numbers favour that of the CT side, but the bomb is planted. Post plant somewhat set up, and an AK collected by Netox. Not the worst position for them to be in. He's trying to go aggressive as well, trying to bring the numbers level, try and bring it back to a 3 versus 3, but it's easier said than done. Spray will come forward, not going to quite find its target, as Pigo and Tech9 going to be caught up with a flash, and in comes Tuurtle for a double. Looking for the third, but it was to clean things up. MIBR finds second, and with 3 remaining players, not the worst of rounds for them.
Yeah, nice. They give up a little bit of space here on the site. They know that they have the advantage in terms of weaponry and numbers, so just give up the space. Don't take unnecessary battles. Don't put yourself in a rough spot. Look, it is possible that you can lose that retake, but given that they had the superior weaponry, they had a nice rotation coming out as well, it would have been really difficult. And then, of course, Tuurtle comes through massive there with those opening 2 kills, gives them a huge advantage, which they're able to very easily leverage into another round win. So now we even things out at the scoreline. But we're definitely not even in the economy. Cruzeiro in a tight spot here. 2 flashes and a smoke. All they really have to work with here. And, well, in terms of weaponry, not much.
That's what we were saying in terms of that priority is a bomb plant, because it at least gives them somewhat stability, because it's a force buy, right? Failure to convert a force buy would normally leave you just kind of dead in the water. But, I mean, as we stand, a bomb plant gives them the ability to pick up a bit of utility, slightly better weapons as well with your good pistols, so not the end of the world. They were able to find a bomb plant in the previous round with a similar mixed bag of buys, so you'd say they can't do it now. Once again, they are looking like they're posturing towards that B side. Boost gonna forward, Jota, it's an easy pick off for him. Santos gonna fall, and that's the exact opener that MIBR wanted. With them having the preference in terms of map control and the weaponry as well, they've got to be finding opening. Killed, and looking for a double. Chelo breaks in 3. Pigo in for the trade, but he's all alone. Jota will clean things up, and there's the lead. MIBR take a 1-round lead, but off, they're not the greatest of starts. This is a much better response.
Well, it's the second round that Chelo has netted himself the MVP of the round. Fantastic play here from him. And okay, we weren't really expecting Cruzeiro to get too much done, but I will say that was quite a ballsy play. Well, that's the wrong word. I suppose it was an ego play. Let's put it that way. Chelo just pushing straight out into them. They get that first kill from the player that, you know, hops up over, trying to boost up and get an angle. And, well, at that point, you know, you've got the advantage. You press it. It's easy pickings. Cruzeiro now finally back in this with weaponry, utility. Have a chance to make it work here, but how do they approach this? This is going to be a really important round in terms of what their economy is going to look like for the next few halves, or rounds rather.
Oh, swinging forward, TEKO gonna find the opener. Wood tries to go for an aggressive peek and actually pays the price for it, getting domed out of the round. Damage has been dealt over towards Cruzeiro, but the opening kill goes the way of the T side. On their first full buy in a little while, exactly the start they needed coming in towards round number 6. But Chelo brings the things right back level. Luxor fall, and now 3 of the 4 remaining players for Cruzeiro half HP.
What's interesting is Jota is rotating across. They don't realize that the bomb is here. Oh, and Chelo's down. The B side is completely open. Jota has to start to rotate back here. But this is a perfect opportunity for Cruzeiro to actually book it over towards the A side if they want to. They have so many options, but they're stalling out. And the longer they wait, the more difficult it is to actually make something happen.
And now that's surely the commit play, right? They've got that long control. It's all down to one player. I mean, Tuurtle sitting close and personal. Only good for 1. The trade comes in immediately, and it's all down to 1. Jota, all alone. 1 versus 3. Low on HP on 2, which does give him some potential, somewhat speaking, but I think this may be a done and dusted affair. And potentially as well, maybe even a save/exit call, because there's no way he's going to make a 1 versus 3 work. And yeah, that's exactly what we see. He's just going to hold his fire, take a little bit of a step back in towards that CT spawn, and potentially hope for an exit frag or 2. But that's another round given up towards Cruzeiro. And of course, them tying this game up 3 rounds apiece. We came in towards today's series, Sam, talking about, you know, MIBR, the big name here, should be able to walk this one. But, you know, not looking too easy for them so far.
Yeah, Cruzeiro have been doing really well so far. And I think that a lot of that is off the back of that kill that they managed to get in mid. So there's quite a few
Yes, yeah.
smokes there. As the smokes are dissipating, there's an attempt made to try and get one of the Cruzeiro players if possible, and it does happen, but it's immediately traded out. The A site is basically open. It was a good read from Cruzeiro because I mentioned, you know, they'd kind of stalled out a little bit once they got that kill over on the B site because they were starved of information. MIBR did a really good job of making it so difficult to figure out where they are. Once they managed to get that kill over towards the A site, at that point, they know they have such a numbers advantage that it probably doesn't make that much of a difference. So they commit, especially because they think, well, maybe they've pulled a rotation over towards B. Now they get the kill on A, they push in, and it works out perfectly.
Well, swinging their way forward. And once again, this early apps control coming in and seems to be that priority for Cruzeiro because it allows them to go for, if they want to, that split back over towards B. It gives them information over towards short as well. And this is what we're seeing. Tuurtle close and personal. He's been playing in towards underbulk before. Santos will find the opener. Tuurtle still holding and waiting. Will avoid the flash quite nicely. A laboured spray, but Jota comes in for support and find a double. Opening 2 go the way of MIBR. Numbers go in their favour. But over towards the B side, Cruzeiro are posturing and there's no one there to meet them.
Ships in the night, he has no idea. Oh, there we go, he spots it, but Exit's got his number. Oh, beautifully played there. Unfortunately, they get themselves a little bit pincered in here, but now it's Cruzeiro who find themselves pincered. Oh no, this was literally a round of Ring a Rosie.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those.
The bomb didn't spawn.
It's one of those scenarios as well where actually I think Cruzeiro have ever so slightly overcomplicated it because they had all of top banana control, realistically had all of B site, and now look, bomb dropped. They have to try and fight off and scave off exit, and that's easier said than done. MIBR win off the back of what is essentially just a rookie mistake from Cruzeiro, leaving that bomb over in towards T-spawn, allowed exit to just hold and wait. It's oh so simple but oh so effective. MIBR once again take a a slim lead at that, and the match is going to be paused off the back of it. You know, for Cruzeiro, that was their real opportunity to turn the tide, and unfortunately, they, as I mentioned, overcomplicated it.
You know, it's a common strategy. You leave the bomb in spawn before you figure out what it is you want to do, but they weren't expecting an incredibly aggressive push from MIBR just straight out of the A site and towards the bottom of banana. Like, who expects that?
No.
So they've got one player who's made his way over towards apps, and he tries to go in for a pincer maneuver, but Exit's watching the back of it. Now, while the rest of MIBR are making their way up banana, one player gets taken out there. So, but whatever potential there was for a pincer from Cruzeiro is completely shut down. Now, it's Cruzeiro who find themselves pincered, and it does go a little bit back and forth, but MIBR, with that little bit more cover to use to their advantage, they're able to take that and again convert it into a round win. Very, very back and forth here. The MIBR seem to be somewhat in control.
I mean, so far, so good. However, as we stand, I mean, quick pause coming in. I think potentially once again, this one might be Tuurtle. We see there's no real buy for him. I don't know if it's over on his side. We'll have to wait and see. But no, I mean, so far, so good. I think for the likes of Cruzeiro, an opportunity can be garnered here. They've got an AK-47 to work with, and it could even potentially be a force buy coming in, but I still think it's very, very risky to do so.
Yeah, but sometimes you go for that high risk, high reward, right? You try and confirm yourself around that maybe you wouldn't have been able to win, and then off the back of that, you gain that little bit of momentum, and okay, it is tough to make that happen. You also have to bear in mind who you're playing up against, and there's a lot of unknown quantities here, and there are a lot of all too well-known quantities. And I think it has, both of those have their up and down side, right? So Cruzeiro, we don't know terribly much about them. That makes them kind of the dark horse. You know, what are they going to do? But you also know that they're fairly new, so they probably aren't as experienced as what you would like. And then you take a look at a team like MIBR, and there is all of the information in the world on this team. They've been together for so long. There is so much tape. There are so many VODs. There is so much that you can look over and try and counter strat. And okay, you have to be good and synergized enough to be able to pull off those counter strats, but you've made it possible for yourself, and it's made possible by the fact that this is such a well-known team. So kind of weigh that up a little bit here, and okay, well, Cruzeiro are not going to go for any sort of crazy buys here. Instead, one hero AK just to get deleted, I guess.
Oh, well, not a bad start. Jeez. Yeah, as you mentioned, the hero AK coming forward, and then, well, Pigo's already left down to 38 points of HP, supported now only by a double P250. Not really the easiest of scenarios for him to be in, as he holds and waits deep in towards Boiler. Have a 2-man advantage from IBR. This should be chalked up to a more or less clean-cut round in their favour. Make it a 5th on the board, start to build up somewhat of a lead on the CT side. That's exactly the case. It is all down to one man. TEKO, wow, not a bad shot though. Tuurtle gonna fall. At least it's not going down in a flawless fashion, but a couple of pop shots down mid, chelo able to convert, and just like that, MIBR make it 5, make it a 2-round lead, and are now starting to really make a difference.
NT TEKO, NT.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not going to make too much happen on range there. I mean, chelo was so far away. Slowly chipping away, but not quite able to connect. Now, MIBR, of course, got everything they could ask for. We talk about the economy, and they're starting to create that little bit of a slush fund. Chelo, the only player to die in the previous round. He's the one that's at a little bit of a disadvantage, but even then, I mean, it's going to be so easy for them to help each other out should they lose this round as well. And this is a round that they could realistically lose. Cruzeiro bought in, but very little util to use.
As we stand, already a complete decimation over towards long. Tuurtle's power forward, try to find one more. Will he be given the chances? The question, yes he will. Lux will fall, AK collected, running out around the info and but that makes absolutely no difference. AK collected, exit finding one more to his tally as we stand, and in a matter of seconds, the fall by Cruzeiro has been decimated.
This was really, really well played. I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that, as I mentioned, Cruzeiro didn't have a ton of utility to come into this round. So they're trying to like flash their way up through mid. They the couple of smokes drop down, but they don't realize that MIBR are again playing a relatively aggressive game, holding some fairly off angles, rushing through into those angles, before they get a chance to be spotted out. Santos does his best to turn it around, and he keeps it expensive, but there you go, MIBR coming through very, very strong there once again. And as we mentioned a little bit earlier on, that economy, they're not too stressed out. In fact, why the hell not? We're going to go ahead and throw in an off for our troubles.
I think that's actually not a bad decision as well. It gives them the kind of preference when it comes to long-range investments. And as we stand, they could have even potentially gone for the AWP scout play, but no. With the 4 rifles, the AWP in the hands of Woods, I think it's actually a very, very good kind of situation for MIBR to be in, start building up a real bit of longevity in terms of just their momentum as we stand. They've already got a 3-round lead. Why not make it quite a few more? Now, Woods holding, waiting, not going to find too much at range. Well, it's up in towards Banana. And if you look up towards Cruzeiro with, once again, unfortunately, a low buy situation for them, it's a very, very slow tempo. They're just going to cut that momentum a little bit, try and find what they can, but I mean, realistically, it's probably not going to be all that much. It's just a case of, once again, the priority, getting a bomb plant, but easier said than done.
So we're seeing a fairly slow round here. Sometimes these pistol, low buy, eco type rounds can be pretty quick. Pretty much just exploding it onto site, get the round over, get some weapons in your hands. But of course, Cruzeiro find themselves in a really tough spot here. They've got a bit of a streak going in terms of losses, so coming into the next round, they'll definitely be all right. But they don't want to make this too easy. Maybe if they can get a couple of kills, do a little bit of damage, maybe even get that bomb down, it would be nice. So that's what we're going to try for here. One death at the bottom of Banana, and here the execute, or the attempt thereof, comes in.
Give it a go, Woods. AWP and exits with the AK-47, making this low buy all the more comfortable. It's a flawless round, in fact, for MIBR for them to find 7. We expected it. They delivered. MIBR, no real kind of analysis needed, realistically speaking. It was just calm and collected, waited for the opportunities, and they won their Angels. MIBR now at 7 with a 4-round lead. On CT side, starting to really impress me. It was a slow start from them, but this is looking like the MIBR we know and love.
Well, it's definitely the one that we expected. I think that MIBR come into this as definitely one of the favorites to snag one of the Dallas spots. And
yes, yeah.
We were definitely expecting them to do quite well here. I am interested to see that there's going to be a counter AWP here from Pigo. I want to see if he can actually make something happen with that. The last few rounds have been rough, but that little bit of extra firepower, it could be the difference maker.
I like this decision. The AWP is trying to counter the space that Woods created in the previous round. Is not a bad position to be in, but speaking of space, chelo's nice close to personal, looking to try and find what he can. A smoke deep in towards Banana as well. Relinquishes all the control that the T-side tried to get over towards B, and it kind of pinches them and forces them to go for that A here. I mean, look how aggressive chelo's going. He might even try to push through it, but that's ill-advised. Lux is holding and waiting. Chelo got a little bit overconfident. He paid the price for it. TEKO's made his way out towards top mid. uncontested as we stand. And even that is a not a bad position for them to be in. We spoke about that AWP on the T side, and there it is coming alive.
Now, chelo gets a little bit cheeky there, and he's been doing this a lot. He loves pushing for very deep banana control. Does get punished here, and well, that's going to make things really difficult here for MIBR. They've already lost 2 players. Pigo does manage to get that nice little AWP kill there. Now, they haven't used any sort of util here to clear out these angles, but they're holding each other. They're making sure that nothing's going to push through. And now as they start to kind of make a little bit of noise, start to filter through a bit towards the A site, see if they can make sure that everyone's here, make sure that that B site is available, because that's exactly where that bomb's headed.
As we stun, or not about opener to give them that control over towards top B. They've more or less opened up this side. The rotation coming forward from Jota, but it's a little bit of a question of too little too late. Spam trying to come through. Lux takes some damage, and look at the time as well, just shy of 5 seconds, but just about can be able to get that bomb down by a matter of seconds. Lux, low HP, finds a kill, does not matter. And with 2 remaining players out of Exit, out of Woods, they're most likely just going to say from this position with an AWP and an AK-47, and their economy not the most stable situation, you know, generally speaking, for kind of more over kind of chelo, and he'll need a drop. Woods, if he loses that AWP, won't be able to pick up another one. Just keep on to what they got. A 2 versus 4. There's no need to overextend back in towards our side. They can give up a 4-4. Try to. Woods going to fall, and that's an important kill. Netox, what a shot.
Yeah, sometimes it's quite dangerous to stay scoped in, and he was holding very deep towards apps. Couldn't actually see the doorway, so unfortunately that's the AWP taken away. Exit's on the wrong side of the map. He can't hold on to that. A really, really solid round here from Cruzeiro, and this team impresses me more and more the more that we actually watch them.
Agreed.
I mean, this hasn't been like a 1-for-1 round kind of thing, but they are keeping it pretty close. They're trying to keep it relatively expensive, and
yeah, for sure.
off the back of that last round as well, they get the first kind of kill because chelo is being a little bit too aggressive. Now, that opener, along with Pigo getting the kill because they're not expecting the AWP to come out, massive. I mean, at that point, you've given yourself the numbers advantage, and it's relatively easy. Things can go wrong, but it's relatively easy to convert at that point.
Oh no, Shadow finding the opening double. That's what I needed. One with the Molotov, one with the M4A1S. And we mentioned about Cruzeiro impressing us, and then they get caught off guard by just a slight step up in aggression. And in a matter of seconds, the down's only 3.
Dying to a Molotov. Oof, you hate to see it. Oh, Netox. Oh, Netox. Ah, saw the barrel of the gun. Ah, such a small thing. I feel like going for banana control has been a little bit of an Achilles heel here for Cruzeiro. You know, chelo, he's either going in really deep to try and catch you off guard, or they're just holding really well at the top of banana. And Cruzeiro just aren't able to get the control that they need. And now again, they're going for that. Now it is a 2 versus 2 at the moment, but if they take too long, then that rotation's going to come in. They're going to need to try and secure this site very quickly. Yeah,
that flank's coming forward as well. They're going to be in a bit of a tough spot, it's safe to say. And here it is. Tuurtle in from behind, looking to try and find a little bit of information. We still see TEKO holding in front of that smoke. And you might be posturing to go for that split back over towards A, which would actually work in their favor. But no, chelo catches them off guard. All down to 1 information gain. And there's the flank we spoke about. Tuurtle comes alive. AWP collected. And 4 remaining alive. MIBR guarantee that they go in towards our second half with, at the very least, a lead under their belt. So you got to remember, this is Cruzeiro's map pick as well. So 8-4 we stand. 12 rounds played going into round number 13 from MIBR. You got to say this is a very good position for them to be in.
No, with only a handful of rounds left here, Cruzeiro got to make something happen. Be nice if they could get a few more rounds, especially considering that this is their T side, and you want to get as much done here as possible so that you can kind of breeze through your CT side, theoretically. You see all of that util coming out on banana here again. MIBR just kind of expecting a potential aggressive push out of Cruzeiro, but I like this. They're baiting out that util. They know MIBR love tossing all of that util down there. So now look at what's left for MIBR. It's not a hell of a lot. They've thrown so much into it, but Netox just, oh, that's unfortunate.
A 1-for-1 trade. Top A control gaining the favor of Cruzeiro, swinging their way forward. Exit gets caught completely off guard. Like a little in his face. Drops them out of the round, and that's not exactly what they were looking for. They were trying to go for the information. They get caught off guard, caught in transition, and because of that, Cruzeiro take that man advantage. Now it's on. The AWP still in play. At range, a labor spray from Jota comes alive all the same. Flash to come in towards short, allowing for that AWP to go for a preference peak, but no, they're T-side, they've doubled back, and potentially they could be once again posturing over towards B, which has been their default.
This is definitely still winnable.
Oh no.
Oh, no, it's definitely winnable. Oh, AWP taken off the board. A side free and clear, and the last two MIBR players, yeah, that's a save.
Yeah, I mean, the second they lost that AWP player who was left isolated over there, they were kind of going for that gamble stack, weren't they?
Yeah.
They made the wrong call, and well, of course, they have to give out what they've got. We mentioned already about kind of long-term economies being such a problem for both of these two sides, having that glass floor analogy below them. And it's more than safe to say that over towards MIBR. You know, Jota and Chelo, with only kind of 1.9 apiece, lose their rifles. They'd be forced into next round with, at the most, kind of half armor and a FAMAS for a bit of utility. That's probably the best buy they could have mustered up. So, yeah, as we stand, they don't need to do anything too special. Keep hold of what they've got. The double M4A1S, pretty util. And, well... Again, unfortunately for them, give up a fifth over towards Cruzeiro.
Yeah, I mean, this was a pretty solid round. And so I kind of spoke a little bit about this as it was happening, but they pull out so much util over on Banana. And MIBR, they've kind of tricked themselves into thinking that it's going to be the push towards B again. Yeah. So they throw everything out, and then we get that beautiful little trade towards kind of that mid-apps area. And somehow Cruzeiro are able to pivot that into the round win, because getting that first kill on the A side, there was a 3-stack towards A. There was only 2 over towards B. At this point, they know they have the numbers advantage. They know that MIBR have been playing like that. They have been playing the 3 towards A, the 2 towards B. So now with that opening available, they know that they can push that. They know that they'll have a huge advantage in terms of numbers there, and it should be relatively easy, especially if they can get in before the rotation comes out. And they do. Perfect. Well played. Now we need to see a little bit more of that if they want to try and secure this. Because remember, this is their map pick. So we are looking to them to come up really big here.
Exactly that. I mean, at the very least, I want to see minimum 6 rounds, potentially try and go as even as they can in towards the half, to give them, at the very least, a bit of space when they swap onto the slightly more preferential side of CT. But speaking of space, that's what we're seeing MIBR do over towards top B. They're kind of once again relying on the AWP to be that solo hold, and they're playing for the retake. Woods missed shot. If he gets punished, that's this entire site open in a matter of seconds. Flash will come forward. Molotov to come in, but it won't be able to deny into that space. They get the crossover towards that B site, and now this becomes very dicey indeed, especially with Netox holding the flank. This is going to become problematic for MIBR in this retake. It's a 5-on-5 retake, barely any damage dealt, and this should be tough. Not a bad shot either as well for Lux. Finds Woods all out of control, and a similar kind of scenario to what we saw in that previous round where the AWP drops, and when the AWP gone, I mean, it leaves them in a real tough spot. Now the retake trying to find a little bit of favor, but time is ticking.
AWP's back. Jotes is going to pick that one up, see if he can get something done with it. And I feel like MIBR have just been a little bit too reactive, but at the wrong time. So Cruzeiro will hit A, and then in the next round, MIBR are like, guys, they hit A. We need to reinforce A, and then Cruzeiro go B. You know, so for this round, they went A in the previous round. So MIBR, they 4-stack on A. They leave the AWP alone on B. And okay, they're putting a lot of faith in Wood's ability to get a kill there, but he gets flashed from his position immediately. One little piece of util, and he's forced way back and has to wait for reinforcements to arrive. And he kind of peeks out before the rest of the team come out. And again, kind of hoping that he'll be able to hit a shot with that. But there's a slightly boosted position. He gets taken out. And at that point, the dominoes just fall.
Exactly that. As we stand, though, not a bad little start both ways. 3 versus 4. Santos going to find one more towards Woods as well. Unfortunately, Woods is really struggling in the latter part of this first half. He's been kind of one of those consistent factors falling and giving up a lot of space over towards Cruzeiro. And I mentioned I'd like to see them get 6, but if not, at the very least, try and make things kind of a little bit more even at the half, and this is exactly where they need to be, especially when they're coming against just an MP9 elective over towards the A side. He's going to be able to find one. TEKO going to fall. Smoke will come forward. Will be able to deny the space. X is still remaining alive just about as he takes damage. In comes Jota for support, but Pigo holding and waiting, expecting leaves Tuurtle all alone in a 1 versus 2. And ladies and gents, it's looking like MIBR at the half. What was looking like they're going to run away with it, going up by only 1.
Yeah, continuing to be impressed by Cruzeiro, this team that we didn't really expect a whole heck of a lot out of. Oh, this is bold from Tuurtle. He's gonna push this with so little HP left here. See if he can try and make something happen.
There we go.
Oh, nope. That's it.
So it's going to fall, well, ladies and gentlemen. That is us at the break. MIBR 8-7 up. We'll see you after the break.
So he's waiting for the bomb to get planted. Now he knows where it is. So now he's going to see if he can try and get an exit here. Of course, with this being the pistol, it's not really like there's anything to save. So going to go in, see if he can get something done here. But, I mean, this is basically your stock standard pistol round, right? Just
of course,
get it over with and see what happens in the next.
It's like a slight gamble, isn't it? That's more or less it. And, unfortunately, it doesn't work for them. Jota will close this one out. And, well, just like that. Not about start. MIBR 9-7. They take a not a comfortable 2-round lead, but of course at the very least it gives them something to work with in terms of bit of stability, bit of longevity. So all in all, not the worst scenario for them to be in. 9-7 at the half. Of course, a significantly better economical situation with AKs, Galil's coming out that 1 Mac 10. It's all in all should be a 10th on the board.
The presumed outcome. See if it does work out that way. I do see Pigo is picked into the scout here, so looking to do a bit of damage there. Oh, doesn't quite connect, and oh wow, it basically baits TEKO out. That's unfortunate, and Chelo's gonna get that kill. And they're still playing this super passive, super patient. Get a kill. You know what? Let's not be too hasty about this. Pop out a little bit of util here. Make sure that you're checking those 50-50s, and now we can start pushing towards the site.
Scout, not going to quite connect either. Looking for that shot. Not going to find it. Now being pressured over towards Moto. Tuurtle leading the charge with the UMP, but a shot at the 4 from behind as well. The flank of Santos good for one, but Woods in for the trade himself. Looking to find one more with a Galil and tagging through the wood. He knew he was coming from Library. And that's MIBR finding their 10th on the board. We said it was expected for them to find double digits. And finally, they do. 3-round lead for them. And for Cruzeiro, unfortunately, without being what was more or less a force buy with whatever they could find, it is another awkward situation in terms of their economy where at the very most, coming in towards round number 18, they can only find upgraded pistols. For MIBR, it looks potentially like they might be on the home straight.
This is a round of util usage as well. Get that first kill, pop out the smokes and flashes, consistently push that scout off of its position so that it can't be a problem. Now they come into this one with so much more firepower, so much more utility, and well, there's that strat of leaving the bomb in spawn, but they're not going to make the same mistake that Cruzeiro did because Lux is going to die to a grenade.
And Pigo, he tried to go close and personal with the USP to potentially deliver on somewhat of an upset in towards round number 18, but no, not going to work in his favour. He does fall. And we mentioned it was only going to be a low buy for them, and unfortunately, I think this may be all they can muster up. I thought he's going for a slightly more slower, calm, passive play, and he's kicked a couple of headshots, and now he's giving away the reason exactly where he's coming from. And the Mac 10 mows him down. MIBR find 11, a 4-round lead in a, well, pretty comfortable fashion, it's safe to say. 11-7, and Sam with 4 rounds in their favour. A 4-buy coming out against a bonus. MIBR, they're in a very comfortable position.
Yeah, let's take a look at what Pigo's got under his belt there, because he did have the scout little while ago. Now he's upgraded that. Going to be bringing the AWP to the battle here, and it's going to be a little bit more tough for MIBR. But we did mention how good their util usage has been. When Pigo had the scout in his hands, they were constantly using smokes and flashes to push him off position. If they can keep doing that, shouldn't be a problem.
Exactly that. Early bits of user damage going to come for utility usage, may I say, but no damage. This time around it does. Tuurtle on to 55. And already the aggressive CT stars from Cruzeiro trying to cut off a lot of that map control over towards MIBR, but in doing so, it has given a bit of apps control over towards Chelo, and he's trying to just find and spot that information to allow them to potentially go for an A here.
I like this positioning from Lux as well. It looked for a moment like he was going to take a pretty deep push down Banana. He did actually, but opted to pull back, knew he was a bit unsafe. He is the solo hold here at the moment, so he has to play this very carefully. A little bit of information that he might be able to garner here could make or break this round. He spotted out that maybe there is something moving through here. The nade comes out, but oh, there's actually a rotation coming in as well. He did give that info across. A little bit of backup. MIBR, we spoke about, we were talking about this in the green room. Brazil play a very patient game of CS. It's exactly what they're doing here, trying to bait out even more of Cruzeiro's utility.
Of course, holding now. Tuurtle on the other side of the smoke. Laboured spray. Exits. Only going to be able to find that trade, but Luck's only able to find one, which is unfortunate. Potentially could have lined up a couple there, but this slightly, as I mentioned, laboured spray did become very costly. In comes the utility as well, flooding their way on towards that B site. A 2 versus 3, it was a 4, may I say, on the kind of the execute. The fourth man coming in and holding that flank. Molotov will tick as well. I'll give away the sound cue with Santos. Down he goes. Even TEKO all alone towards backside. Good for the first. Flashback, brilliant. Allow a second and a third. Exit bomb in hand, unable to pull his rifle out in time. And time is of the essence, and he falls off the time, leaving Jota with nothing left in the bank. And that is so unfortunate for MIBR. What looked like it could have been a done round and an easy round in their favor. They didn't clear in towards dark.
Such a small mistake to make, honestly. But I will say, sometimes that really patient game of CS can work against you. Gives Cruzeiro a little bit of time to get that all-important information, get those rotations through when necessary, cover as many angles as possible, get yourself into a nice little spot, and if those angles aren't checked, if they aren't covered, if they aren't cleared, then you've got a problem. Now MIBR, they're going to be buying into the AWP of their own. Going to try and take the battle to Pigo and Tuurtle. Losing half his life there in a Molotov, not great. Forces him back and gives a ton of space, ton more map control back over to Cruzeiro.
Well, now, of course, you mentioned that kind of early bit of aggression coming forward from MIBR. Tuurtle's taking a lot of damage, now being forced to be a little bit more passive, which gives up a lot of space over towards Cruzeiro. I mean, as we hold the AWP in the hands of Pigo, who's a real difference maker for them, and now this boost coming up from above. Tuurtle will be spotted out. As that smoke dissipates is where things become very interesting, which I don't even consider this as well. They potentially might have spotted the gun barrel, hence why Santos is holding on the four. It's now going to fall off. Potentially looking like they could have been able to deliver on a couple there of the boost, but no, not going to be the case. 50 seconds left to work with, and Pigo forced off the angle.
Oh, that's unfortunate. He had a good angle there as well. They were kind of expecting it there, maybe even spotted out, as you said, the gun barrel in the boost. So opting not to push that one. MIBR running the clock down, but we're about to hit 30 seconds. That's usually the moment to go. Lux is going to spot it out. The Molotov is going to slow it down. Is it going to be enough as he sprays through the first?
Oh, not a bad couple there as well. Lux making it a 3K and easy peasy standing in a matter of seconds. What was looking like another take that should have gone the way of MIBR. They're left now with only 2. And in a 2 versus 5 situation, the flank going to come forward from Tuurtle, but he's been spotted out. They know exactly where he's coming from, and this is a safe call once again. They've left the clock way too low, and it goes back to the conversation we're having in the green room. Speaking about how they play a very kind of slow, methodical style of CSGO, the Brazilians, but, by cutting that clock all the way down to the end and trying to go for a late execute, it can become costly, and there's the risk in that can come with it.
We also have to give quite a bit of praise there to Lux. He's been doing really well anchoring down that B site, using that utility to make sure pushes don't come through. And, that Molotov last second that comes through stops MIBR's aggressive push up Banana. And then that gives a little bit of time for Lux to reposition. And the spray through is good. Now, obviously, of course, it means a lot that he does hit those shots and he does get the spray down quite nicely. But He secures that site. He gets the 3K. He completely locks it down. And that's perfect. Particularly, I mean, we saw a little bit earlier on in the previous half where MIBR would leave Wood alone on the B side, but that was with the AWP. So it's a little bit more difficult. You've got to hold further back. And to swap between Util and the AWP, it takes a little bit longer than what it would to swap between a rifle and some of your Util. Lux can play a little bit more deep. He can get information a lot more early, and he can gain a lot more space and call those rotations. So I like this play. The question is, how is MIBR going to respond to this? Are they going to keep going for that banana control? Yes, they are. And Wood survives with the skin of his teeth.
Very, very fortunate to do so. You're looking towards MIBR as well. You know, the double hero AK setup is all they've got for them. Saved across from that previous round, of course. Supported by the upgraded pistols. It's not the easiest situation. We mentioned for a lot of the time for Cruzeiro in half number one about that priority being that bomb plant to give them stability. Well, now it's exactly the same. Smoking towards mid. Chelo has been spotted out. Look to take a couple of pop shots. Not going to spot out too much. And Tuurtle, he's very fortunate to still be alive as we stand. And potentially might even be tempted to give that AK across.
See if they do opt to do that. For now, he's just going to hang on to it. They know that he's been quite a boon for this team. See if he can get a couple more kills. And also, I mean, I'd like to see him get... There we go. I was going to say, I'd like to see him give it over because you can kind of use him as bait.
Exactly.
Which sounds terrible. But you bait out a swing. You trade off it. I mean, you know that you're at a little bit of a disadvantage here. Oh, but look at this spot from Lux. They need to push him off somehow, but they don't have any util.
Oh, no. Chelo. Not a bad way to do it, though. Headshot, gonna find the opener. And now they can flood their way back in towards Moto. Of course, two players still yet to clear. Santos in towards Graveyard, Netox in towards Cold Zero, and actually rotating over towards that B side. Two players remain there. It's a 2-2 split for the CTs, and the AWP at range trying to find something, which Pigo does oh so well. Second time of asking, not gonna find the target, but now they're crossing made towards that of Coffins, and it makes a difficult exit. Needs to come alive, and he does so well. Finding one. Flashbang's brilliant as well. TEKO through the Molotov, through the flames, finds it and leaves it all down to Jota with just the Glock in hand. And of course, 2 seconds on the clock. That's Cruzeiro finding double digits. FYONS will be collected, but that's all MLB are going to find. They leave things late once again and can't find their way on towards the site.
What's really strange to me is that they show a ton of early aggression. They throw out a lot of early util. They make it seem like they're going to push, and then they just don't. And by the time they actually want to make their execute, they've burnt half of their util. Okay, we also have to bear in mind that the last round was a little bit of a low buy, so...
For sure, exactly.
The strategic depth that you're expecting isn't necessarily going to be there. They don't have the same util to work with, etc. And I mean, even coming into this round, it's even worse off. So we're still not expecting great things. But I feel like they could definitely hit that go button just that little bit faster, you know, maybe in the next round when they've got a little bit more firepower to back them up.
Well, slower tempo coming through as we stand. The orb holding towards short. Quite an aggressive angle from Pigo as well, but so far he's been a very, very prevalent player. They might want to send the Pearson to try and shut him down. Santos good for a double. Jota will find one of his own into the trade, but it's Pigo and that orb that we spoke about stepping up. The back of Wood spotted out by the orb, but not going to be able to connect on a shot. And they made that wrap in towards Moto, which they're all too aware of. And as TEKO comes in for an aggressive flank, this should be able to work in their favor. Or so I say. Exit rid of like a book, finds one of his own, and brings the numbers to a 3 versus 2. The orb is holding, delivering. Pigo has been a difference maker oh so well. Will he expect the cross is the only question. All about reaction timings for him. And for Woods, in a 1 versus 3, this kill is an important one, but then he's still got 2 more to find.
And to be honest, as much as you've got quite a bit of a loss streak bonus there, you don't really want to lose the A or the M4, and he doesn't. He actually manages with a nice little Ferrari swing there to get a kill. See if he can get a little bit more done. Tries to keep it expensive, but I mean, when you look at how much cash Cruzeiro have at this point, expensive isn't really something that they're too concerned about. They're going to be buying back into this very easily. Full util, not a problem. The question here is going to be MIBR. We have even things out here, which, again, really impressive. Well done. You know, we kind of spoke about MIBR being the potential favorites, and they're looking a little shaky. So we're going to be buying into the AWP once again here for Wood. And he's had a bit of a rough time of it. I mean, he's only on 8 kills at the moment. it hasn't been the best showing from him on this map, and I suppose that could potentially be a contributing factor. Hopefully that will kind of step up a little bit towards the end of the map and into the next, but he's picking into this high-powered weapon, and he really does need to get results from that if they want to get back into the lead and potentially win this map.
Precisely. Well, pause done and dusted. 11-11. We are tied all square. And you know, we mentioned this in that previous half, that glass floor analogy, which is very, very prevalent over towards MIBR. This is another scenario for them where the monetary pressures are gonna become a problem. It doesn't allow them to be too aggressive. Hence why they need to, well, it's a be-all and end-all. They have to convert this. Orb is holding. Orb has been spotted out, the gun barrel there, but actually going to find the first. Orb trying to find one more. Woods comes alive. Pigo's been so aggressive this time. Pays the price, may I say, for exactly that nature. Sneaking away from the smoke. Will TEKO even expect this aggression up close and personal? Turtle's trying to spot out the head, but from above, like an assassin. TEKO finds a bit of damage, but a Tuurtle to deliver on a kill. 2 versus 5 in a matter of seconds. Cruzeiro left in a tough situation with Netox and Lux. So much to do.
Listen, I love a proactive CT side as much as the next person, but that was...
not it.
Dangerous. Yeah, I mean, they kind of just rush straight out of mid. They use 0 util to give them any kind of sight, and MIBR, I mean, we know they play a patient game. So if you're just going to run straight into them, that's the one thing that they're 100% prepared for. They do lose out one player here, but ultimately they win this round. It's a bit of a weird read from Cruzeiro. You know, of course, you understand you have to kind of keep things fresh. You kind of got to change up things a little bit. You don't want to become too telegraphed, but that definitely wasn't the play. And hopefully we don't see a repeat of that as MIBR, going to come through this one with 4 players left alive. All of those guns kept in hand. Chelo should be able to come in. You know, obviously they'll have the round-winning cash, so should still be able to buy in very easily. And they might actually turn that into a bit of a streak. We spoke about how, you know, we're trying to keep it expensive here for Cruzeiro. And, okay, they have built up enough of a slush fund to keep themselves very competitive in the next round. But this could be something that turned things in favor of MIBR. But again, I'm waiting for them to make a change. We see Cruzeiro make a change. It wasn't the right change, but it's a change. We need to see that from MIBR here.
We need to. I mean, at the moment, it's still such an even standing in terms of Cruzeiro doing a very good job on their CT side. And MIBR, what success they're finding has become expensive. That was a kind of a difference maker for them. They're opening 2 kills that went their way. They tried to do something different with an aggressive push down mid, pay the price for exactly that. Cruzeiro, I think they've learned their lesson. The passivity that they've been playing so far has been where the real bulk of their success has been coming from. Because MIBR, in a classic fashion, have been leaving things very late. Now, early bits of util aggression over towards upper B. Pigo's going to find the opener as well. I've sung his praises time and time again. The Orb stepping up hugely to find that opening kill. And of course, the more important thing, finding the opening kill and then falling away.
Yeah, but that doesn't give a ton of info of what's happening on A. But it's not the end of the world because they realize now that it is, again, a very aggressive push from MIBR onto the B side.
Santos finding another kill there as well. Never should have happened. Flashed as well, just jumping up, spraying and praying, and delivers. Finding one more, keeps numbers in favour of the CT side as the rotation has come forward. It's now a 2-2 split. And potentially over towards MIBR, they might be thinking about doubling back, or at the very least, once again, cutting that clock.
There's a slight advantage here for Cruzeiro, but look how thinly they're spread across the map. And what's interesting here is MIBR still playing very scared. Of course, they know they're at a player disadvantage, and Cruzeiro are playing information starve. They don't actually know what the numbers look like across the field here. Now, they're going to be running in as a 3 versus 2. It's definitely doable. Going to see if that execute does come through. The question here is, are they going to check dark?
Well, a bit of a spanking before, and now the information's been gained. The real problem over towards MIBR is the lack of utility for them to work with. Looks to find one, swinging in. Woods not able to transfer the spray. Leaving it all down to the AWP of Woods. All alone, and I think he's being flanked. So too tough for him to be able to deliver in this case, in this scenario. Netox cleans things up. Woods falls, and for MIBR, right back to the drawing board. Right back to this game being tied. 12 rounds apiece.
Again, we call back to that having no util at the end of the round. Why? They throw so much of it at the start, trying to crane open some sort of opening for themselves to push through. And then when it comes down to the really important moment of now we have to execute, they've got nothing left in the tank. And they're throwing just that little bit too much here. Oh, there's a nice little flash. See, sometimes their util usage is so good, but it's too much.
Exactly.
I don't know. They like need to find a balance.
I agree. No, 100%. I mean, it's kind of the early util to give them a bit of space, bit of map control, but then that does leave things dicey towards the latter part of the round. Exactly what we saw from MIBR previously, right? You know, they were going for the XQ over towards B, and they had no utility left to work with. And because of that, it left him in a, safe to say, a very dicey spot. Now, making it over towards apartments is looking like the standard apps pop to come forward. In comes the flash, not going to catch Neto. Sex out of asking does do exactly that. Jota going to fall, Tuurtle and Chelo following suit, and MIBR just being decimated over towards his A site now.
Oh, that was just devastating. And also, I mean, so we didn't really touch on this, but Cruzeiro have the double AWP in this setup, and they like didn't even really have a chance to use it. It's just Netox chilling here in Graveyard, or not Graveyard, but in Pit. And yeah, just dominating everyone as they try and push down through apps. Now there's a little bit of a lurk here from Lux. The Wood is in a very tough spot. The bomb has been dropped. They don't have control of that. They can't rotate away. They can't really do much of anything here. At this point, it might even just be like a save. Just they don't have terribly much to save, but their economy is a mess. It's the 1 AK and the Galil, and better than nothing. Oh, there we go. 2 AKs. Nice. Manages to sneak that in.
At the very least, though, walking towards round number 26 with the double AK set up, and unfortunately for the rest of MIBR, probably not a lot, right? It's going to be upgraded pistols the very most, potentially even just a full save and try and use those hero AKs to find something. But another situation for MIBR where they overextend, the utility not as effective as it needed to be. We speak about that kind of clearance in towards Pit, and just like that, Cruzeiro take that lead, which has been kind of out of their hands for quite a while now, right back in their favour. A 13-12 slim one-round lead, but a lead none the same. And of course, it's only 3 rounds left to the all-elusive 16.
Oh, it's just been so close here. And looking at the stats here, I mean, chelo, we mentioned it a few times. He's been so good, and of course, he's topping out the kills here across the entire server. Just been an absolute nuisance round after round. MIBR, just getting destroyed by util, Neo.
You really do hate to see it. Comes some more as well to add to their already troublesome time. Woods down to 35, not exactly where he wants to be. He's being spammed through the wall as well. I mean, they're in a tough spot. One flash and it leaves them down and out for the count. Smoke's coming close and personal. Lux is going to hold down the fort, and it's a 1 AK, 1 Tech 9 setup for MIBR. Josh going to take the reins with the AK-47. Woods left with a CZ, and that's all they've got to try and find 5 kills.
And this is getting devastating because this is going to put Cruzeiro on 14. This is also going to be pretty rough for MIBR's econ. And if Cruzeiro win the next one, we're on match point. So MIBR have to really dig deep here. I mean, do I believe they can clutch this round? No, not even a little bit. I think at this point, they just try and hold on to the AKs that they have and try and get themselves into the next round. Surely. But in the next round, that's going to be the big question mark realistically. In this one, the 2 players that survived kept their AKs. They put 1 AK and the 2 Tech 9. So hopefully they can put a little bit of cash into the next one. It's probably going to be not ideal, but at least they'll have something to work with. Cruzeiro, on the other hand, they still have the double AWP setup. They still have so much firepower.
Well, at the very least, to be able to find a bomb plant and a couple of kills, not the worst of ends for MIBR. From what was looking like a really terrible round from them, they were on a bomb plant, 2 kills, which should give them a little bit more of a stable economy in towards the next round coming up. But it's still a question of, is it going to be too little too late? And potentially even Cruzeiro taking map number 1, their pick, which we didn't really even compute too much.
Yeah, I mean, at least, so it is going to be the full buy here, but now you have to weigh up. We spoke about this high risk, high reward. So they're full buying in here, knowing full well if they lose this round, Cruzeiro on match point, and their econ is in shambles. Even at a full loss bonus, they're not going to be able to completely kit themselves out. So this round is must win to stay in it.
exactly that. I mean, it's kind of the be all and end all, the do or die situation. Swinging the way forward as well. Look at the aggressive stance here from Lux. Brilliant flashbang from Tuurtle, though. Lux gonna fall. That could exit the opener. What we were saying of them being down and out for the count, potentially a lifeline extended now.
Oof. Nice little bit of chip damage there, but it doesn't force him off. He's going to keep that angle, see if he can maybe get something out of that. I think this is the right call from MIBR. Get the hell out of dodge. But this util getting used here over towards the A site. It's definitely going to give a... There's a rotation. No, okay, it's not. Oh, it's just a reposition. I nearly had a heart attack. All right, they've still got this covered. Pigo's here with the AWP. MIBR, bit of a tough spot here. Don't have too much. They only have 2 smokes left. They can't flash Pigo off of his spot. How do they push this? How do they... Okay, that's how. Cool.
Oh, Tuurtle, what a swing from him. And of course, now Netos needs to be careful because he's being flanked, not even aware of it. Shot are going to find that kill. Leave it down to 2. TEKO and Santos a lot to do. And of course, I think they've already made a pretty clear decision on what they want to do in this scenario. Give up the round. Give up a 13 over towards MIBR. And it's going to be a flawless 13 for that. Sam, this one's looking like potentially we could go the full distance.
Do you know what? We were kind of, what's the word, dreading that it could be a swift 2-0, right? You never want to come into a tournament like that, especially with a team that on paper doesn't look like they're going to stack up. But we've been proven wrong. Okay. And honestly, I'm really excited about that. Okay, TEKO, keep it going. Keep it expensive. I don't think he wins the round. He's on the other side of the map. But keep guns away. Keep making it rough, at least. And you know, we spoke about how important this round was going to be for MIBR because of you know, it was going to be rough to try and buy in the next one, but because they managed to, I mean, they tried to go for like a full freaking 5-man save, well, not save, but like a hold, right? And they do manage to hold on to a lot of those guns. So this was really important. This was imperative, in fact. And again, because they managed to take away one of those AWPs, Cruzeiro are not able to get it back in this round. As much as they've been pretty flush, it's not enough for them to bring it back. So now they only have the 1 AWP to worry about. And okay, we say only, it's still quite a lot. It's still quite impactful. But they're slowly clawing their way back into it.
As we stand, I mean, not the worst scenario for MLBR. They tried to go hunting. I think it's actually not a bad decision for the long-term side of things, but it's a risk that didn't work in their favor. Orb shot not quite connecting. Pigo, extremely unfortunate to come out on top there. And Woods, extremely fortunate to still remain alive from MLBR. Once again, go for their default over towards slowly that banana control, but what we've seen from MIBR is the kind of that default slow takeover towards banana, rotation back over towards A, and something which Cruzeiro have read oh so well. It gives a bit of utility, but yeah, MIBR, they're not committing. Going back over towards A, as we've seen time and time again, but a tougher opposition over there with Pigo and the AWP.
We're back into this very, very slow style of play, though. And look how much util has already been used, and the execute hasn't come through. They're getting a little bit of chip damage onto them as well from, like, grenades. And now the push comes in, and it's an immediate trade.
Not a bad position at all. As all 1-for-1. Turtle's getting a little bit of space. The orb still needs to be clear, but a smoke in his face leaves Pigo's job all the more unfortunate. Netox on towards site. Has to come up huge in towards Cold Zero box. It's one in which he more or less has to deliver on. Sound has been heard though. Tuurtle heard the cues in towards that of the brackets position, and obviously finds Pigo with the all bar to fray. Man advantage in favour of the T slide. Not the worst opportunity for MLB to split on towards today's site. Still to be Santos. Tuurtle doing it all alone. Finding yet one more bomb to be planted. Trying to deny Netox, won't be able to do so. It's actually exit to find the frag in a matter of seconds. It's Lux all alone. And one thing I want to highlight, Sam, look at the economy over towards Cruzeiro. They're in a really tough spot here.
I mean, MIBR, well done, you know, to bring this back around. Now, funnily enough, Cruzeiro find themselves in a very similar position to what MIBR did a little bit earlier on. Lux forced to have to hold on to this M4 because he knows coming into this next round, their econ is going to be a mess. They don't have a huge loss streak bonus to fall back on. They're getting, I think it's 3 rounds, so it's like 2,400. Not great. Santos is all right. TEKO is all right-ish. But for the rest, it's not ideal. And they know now that if they lose this next round, MIBR are on match point. So, yeah, both of them finding themselves in a really tough one. I don't know. I can maybe see this going to OT.
Potentially.
I can see it happening. Yeah.
That's the thing, right? I mean, as we stand, this one actually could do a lot more damage than we initially expected coming in towards this map and this series, generally speaking. I mean, we said, you know, on paper, MIBR are the much better side, and Cruzeiro have the unknown factor about them, but realistically, it should only go one way. I mean, I think we were a little bit too overzealous ourselves in terms of giving all the support over towards MIBR, because I mean, the unknown factor, the unknown identity that Cruzeiro have about them has been delivering. They've been a really impressive side so far. I want to highlight them once again, but I think even though he's not top fragging, the impact that Pigo has been finding since picking up on AWP has been stellar.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I love talking about is how the AWP's power doesn't just come from its ability to one-shot. It also comes from its ability to completely block off a rotation. You know that an AWP is there. Are you really going to risk peeking it? Sure, you could try and flash it off position, but how many times have we seen a blind kill come through, right? So you have to respect it. And if you are going to push it, you have to invest utility into it, utility that you're not going to be able to use later on. So even if he's not getting the frag, just by existing, he's creating a problem.
Agreed. I mean, it makes you double guess yourself, doesn't it? And that's where things do become problematic. Now, of course, once again, the default over towards top B, looking for that little bit of information. Santos might want to play this one very passive. It's a double stack for them. In comes a deep smoke as well to cut off a little bit of the fray coming in. Well, no, so far, so good. Flash will come forward. A double stack from the CT side over towards short. They're gambling upon the fact that they can hold this area, but they're relinquishing a lot of that map control towards MIBR, especially over towards B.
Oh, MIBR playing so slow again. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Look at little util they have left available. Okay, they know that Cruzeiro aren't going to have a ton as well. But you don't really judge your ability to do things with util based on what util the other team has available. Now, a lot of it's been dropped and this execute's going to come through. Have they done enough?
That is the question. Swinging the way forward as well. They're slowly maneuvering. The double M4 LNS is in towards backside. They're going to double stack over towards new box, in fact. And the boost coming through could make the difference. Will they even think to clear a Santos going to find one, but they know there's two remaining there. Good shots for Tuurtle to find one. Chelo still looking for that trade, but it's Jota to deliver. In a matter of seconds, all down to one as Pigo with that AWP and MIBR surely to find 15. It'll be one round away from taking their opponent's map pick. And unfortunately speaking, Cruzeiro, that economy is well and truly in the bin.
That's it. I mean, what are they going to have into this next round? Sure, it's 4 losses in a row. It's 2,900, but what are you going to get with that? It's not ideal. You have to consider now, so what concessions are you going to make? Are you going to give up utility to have more firepower? Are you going to give up slightly better guns so that you have more util so that you can push people off angles? How do you again, we come into this balancing act, and it's going to be really difficult to figure out exactly how they're going to do this. Okay, at least they're still going to have the AWP coming into this round, so we kind of spoke about the impact that Pigo's had, and to still have that available, that's a really good thing. It's a good start, but MIBR, I don't know, I feel like my hopes and dreams of it over time slowly dwindling away from me. Look at that util. Good grief. MIBR have literally everything that they could possibly need in this next round. And Cruzeiro, got the timeout coming out. Like, yeah. I think we had a timeout literally in the previous round. Yeah. And now they have to take another one because they're just like, we have nothing. What are we doing?
What do they do? I mean, that is the question, right? In this sort of scenario, this position for Cruzeiro, I think it's safe to say they are really got the odds stacked against them. I mean, map point in favor of RBR, and they have to step up huge. The thing that at least gives them somewhat of a hope and a chance that AWP is still in the hands of Pigo, right? I mean, we said about him making a difference and an impact with the AWP, and of course, especially when you're trying to cut down the control that Woods has been trying to find. So by saving that AWP, it does give them a little bit of a hope and a chance, but the support around it's going to be lackluster, to say the absolute least. An MP9 and a FAMAS picked up. For Santos, most likely going to be MP9 as well. For TEKO, he's only got a P250. I mean, this is a horrible, horrible scenario for them to be in.
Yeah, we see they're actually taking yet another pause here, because of course you get 4. So they've taken 2 in a row just for that extra little bit. Heck, they might even throw the 4th one in just for good measure, because I mean, when else are you going to use it? This is match point. But you know what? Maybe they're expecting to win this round and then use that extra pause and match point. It could happen. It could happen. But for now, we are actually jumping back into it. AWP available. Oh man, this is heartbreaking. Wait, look at TEKO. Oh, geez. He's literally just there for util. All right, guys. Tell me where to throw it. I got you. And I'll support you from... I'll be bait.
Poor TEKO as well. I mean, for him, I guess at the very least, he'd be an information player, but a kind of fodder potentially. X6 a little bit of damage to the Molotov. That's Syracuse gain. They know they've at least caused somewhat of a ruckus deep B. Chelo, once again, going for that standard play over towards mid, but this time not making the aggressive stance in towards apartments. He's going to hold, and he's sort of expecting CT aggression to come through, which at the moment's not really being given up. They know that orb's still in play, which is posted up over towards B, but you see Woods holding it towards Boiler. He's cautious of the swing coming forward from Pigo, and the wallbang's trying to come through as well. Woods trying to be a little bit cheeky with it. We're about to find a Molotov at the very least going to force the orb back, and now they know where the orb was placed. That might even force them for a rotation over towards A.
I don't know. Still so early. MIBR don't make decisions within the first minute. Don't be silly. We've still got at least another 20 seconds before they actually commit to anything. For now, they're still kind of vibing in banana. But I do like that there's a certain level of respect here. They haven't gone, all right, cool, we've got full weapon advantage. We're just going to rush a site and try to overrun them. But look at the util again, Nao. Look at that. Two smokes and two. Okay, they're kind of swapping and chopping and changing amongst themselves. They've used everything. Only one flash left, but it gets them onto the site.
And that's a big kill as well. Finding them on towards the site. Finding Pigo, which of course is the real thing that's to deliver with. But luck's still causing an issue. Finding one, shot in for the trade at the very least. The site now relinquished, completely barren, and in comes that rotation, but that's easier said than done. No smoke for them to cross with, so they have to guarantee the plant, but it's such an aggressive string from Chelo, and Exit will close things out, ladies and gentlemen. MIBR 16-14, they take their opponent's map pick, and Cruzeiro now, they head on towards Vertigo with a very, very tough task ahead of them. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to throw this one to an ever so slight break, and we'll see you momentarily. Map number 2, MIBR's pick of Vertigo. We'll see you in a second.